Valentine's Day had always been special to me. Ever since I married Jason, he had never failed to make it magical. Candlelit dinners, heartfelt gifts, and passionate nights. So when I came home that evening, dressed in my favorite red dress, I expected the same romance. But I wasn't prepared for what was coming. Jason sat at the dining table, swirling a glass of whiskey, his expression unreadable. A slow smirk played on his lips as he watched me step inside. "You look stunning, babe," he said, his voice thick with something I couldn't quite place. I smiled, stepping closer to kiss him, but he pulled back slightly, his eyes dancing with mischief. "I've been thinking about something," he continued, setting his glass down. "Something different. Something exciting." I arched a brow. "Exciting?" He leaned forward, his fingers brushing over mine. "A threesome." The word hit me like a slap. My breath caught, and for a moment, I thought he was joking. But his expression stayed firm. "What?" I let out a dry laugh, trying to process. "Jason, you can't be serious." His hand tightened around mine. "I am. Think about it, babe. It's something wild, something new. And I want it for Valentine's Day." My heart pounded. I yanked my hand back, stepping away. "You want what as a gift? Are you out of your mind?" Jason sighed, rubbing his temple like I was the one being unreasonable. "Listen, we've been together for years. And I love you. But don't you ever think about spicing things up? Just once." His words sent a cold shiver through me. Of course, I had fantasies. Everyone did. But this wasn't something I had ever considered. "Jason," I whispered, my voice unsteady. "You're asking me to bring another woman into our bed. On Valentine's Day." He leaned back, studying me. "Not just any woman. I was thinking, maybe one of your friends." I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. My friends? He was insane. The room spun as 100 emotions crashed over me. Betrayal, anger, confusion, and something else. A small, forbidden curiosity buried deep within me. "You're disgusting," I spat, grabbing my purse. "I can't believe you'd even ask me that." I turned to leave, but his voice stopped me. "Just think about it, babe. One night. No strings. And if you hate the idea, I won't bring it up again." I stormed upstairs, my mind racing. I should have shut it down completely. I should have made him sleep on the couch. But instead, I sat on the edge of the bed, my heart pounding. Jason's request replayed in my head. The way he looked at me, the way he said it. "One of your friends." As much as I wanted to hate him, a darker part of me wondered, if I had to choose, who would it be? And that was the thought that terrified me the most. What would you do in my shoes? Would you walk away or consider the request? Like and subscribe for more dramatic and scandalous stories. I barely slept that night. Jason's words kept circling in my mind like a bad dream I couldn't shake. A threesome. With one of my friends. I told myself I'd never even consider it. But then why couldn't I stop thinking about it? The next morning, I went through my routine like nothing was wrong. I made coffee, scrolled through my phone, and tried to ignore Jason's knowing smirk from across the kitchen. He didn't push me, didn't mention it again. That made it worse. It felt like he knew I was already thinking about it. By noon, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my phone and texted Emily. Emily was my closest friend. Beautiful, confident, the kind of woman who could turn heads just by walking into a room. She had always been a little wilder than me, the type who made reckless decisions and never regretted them. If anyone would hear me out without judgment, it was her. "Me need to talk. Can we meet?" "Emily." "Oh, sounds serious. Wine or coffee?" "Me, wine. Definitely wine." That evening, we met at a cozy little wine bar downtown. The dim lighting and soft music made it the perfect place for secrets. Emily took one look at my face and smirked. "Okay, what did Jason do?" I hesitated, then took a deep breath. "He asked me for a threesome." Her eyes widened before she burst out laughing. "Shut up, Jason. You're Jason." I nodded, taking a long sip of my wine. "Well, damn," she said, swirling her glass. "Didn't see that coming." "Yeah, me neither." She leaned in, her expression curious now. "And what did you say?" I told him he was disgusting. That it was crazy. She tilted her head. "But you're still thinking about it." I looked away. "I don't know. It's just, He made it sound so casual, like it wasn't a big deal. Emily studied me, a slow smile forming. And do you think it's a big deal? I let out a breath. Of course I do. This isn't who I am. She took another sip, her eyes playful. Maybe it could be. I blinked. What? She shrugged. Look, I'm not saying you should do it. But maybe you should ask yourself why you haven't completely shut the idea down. Her words sent a shiver down my spine. Emily leaned back, tapping her nails against her glass. Besides, it depends on who the third person is, right? Some stranger. Definitely weird. But someone you trust. She smirked. That's a different story. I stared at her, my stomach twisting. Was she suggesting what I thought she was? Before I could ask, my phone buzzed. Jason, dinner tonight? Just us. Let's talk. I sighed, putting my phone down. He wants to talk. Emily grinned. Well, you better figure out what you want to say. I walked into the house, my heart pounding. Jason had set the table with candles and wine, trying to soften the tension. As I sat down, he reached for my hand. Did you think about it? I swallowed hard. Yes. His grip tightened. And I took a deep breath. If I say yes, I have conditions. His eyes darkened with something unreadable. Tell me. I forced myself to stay calm. I choose who. I control what happens. And if I change my mind, it's over. Jason nodded, his voice low. Deal. I hesitated before saying the words that would change everything. I choose Emily. The shock on his face was almost satisfying. But underneath, I knew the truth. Once I said it, there was no going back. Would you have made the same choice? Like and subscribe for more shocking and dramatic stories. The night arrived faster than I expected. I had spent days battling with my emotions, fear, anticipation, guilt, and something deeper, something I wasn't ready to name. Jason was more excited than ever, acting like a kid on Christmas morning. But for me, this wasn't a game. This was our marriage. Emily, on the other hand, was calm. Almost too calm. You sure about this? She asked as we stood in my bathroom, getting ready. She looked stunning in a black lace dress, her makeup flawless, her confidence radiating like a fire I couldn't ignore. No, I admitted, staring at my reflection. But I'm here. She smirked. That's enough. I wasn't sure if I believed that. Jason had booked a luxury hotel suite downtown, complete with rose petals on the bed and a bottle of champagne chilling on the table. Wow, Emily teased as she stepped inside. Really going for the romance, huh? Jason chuckled, but his eyes were locked on me. Only the best for my wife. The weight of his words settled between us. I reached for the champagne, needing something to dull the nerves. Jason poured 3 glasses, his fingers brushing mine as he handed one over. To new experiences, he toasted. Emily clinked her glass against ours. I hesitated before doing the same. The night started slow, drinks, laughter, playful teasing. But there was an energy in the air, thick and dangerous. Then Jason made his move. He pulled me close, his lips grazing my ear. Relax, babe. Just enjoy this. I tried. I really did. But the moment Emily's fingers brushed against my skin, a shiver ran through me. Not from fear. Not from discomfort. From something else. Something I wasn't ready to admit. Jason didn't notice. He was too lost in his own fantasy. But I did. And so did Emily. She leaned in, whispering, "Breathe, sweetheart." And I did. But it wasn't Jason who made my heart race. It wasn't Jason who set my skin on fire. It was her. The night blurred into sensations I couldn't explain. Emotions I couldn't control. But at some point, something changed. Jason realized it too. The way I responded. The way my body reacted. The way my focus had shifted. He was no longer in control. I was. And for the first time, I saw something in his eyes that I never expected. Jealousy. Jason wanted this to be about him, but it wasn't. Not anymore. And deep down, I think Emily knew it from the start. As the night reached its peak, so did the truth, the unspoken realization that this wasn't just an experience for me. It was a discovery, a revelation, one that would change everything. Hours later, the room was silent except for our heavy breathing. The air was thick with the weight of what we had done. Jason lay beside me, staring at the ceiling, lost in thought. Emily smirked, stretching like a cat that had just won a game. And me? I wasn't sure who I was anymore. Jason finally spoke. That was different. Emily chuckled. You could say that. But Jason wasn't laughing. He turned to me. Eyes searching. Are you okay? I nodded, but I wasn't sure if it was a lie. Because deep down I knew the truth. This wasn't just about a wild night. This was about what came next. And I wasn't sure we'd ever be the same again. What happens now? What would you do in her place? Like and subscribe for more intense and dramatic stories. The morning after was eerily silent. Jason and I had barely spoken since we left the hotel. The ride home was filled with awkward glances and forced small talk, like two strangers pretending nothing had happened. But something had happened. Something I couldn't take back. I had agreed to this for Jason. But in the end, it hadn't been about Jason at all. And that was the problem. For the next few days, Jason acted off. He wasn't angry, but he wasn't himself either. He was watching me, studying me, like he was trying to figure out what had changed. The worst part? I didn't have an answer. I wasn't sure who I was anymore. One night had rewritten the rules of our marriage. Jason had wanted excitement, but I had found something else. Something deeper. And I knew he could feel it. One evening, as we sat on the couch, he finally broke the silence. Did you enjoy it? He asked, his voice careful. I hesitated. Didn't you? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he swirled the whiskey in his glass, his jaw tight. I thought I would, he admitted. But something changed. I swallowed. What do you mean? He turned to face me, his eyes unreadable. It wasn't about me, was it? I froze. This was the moment I had been dreading. Because he was right. Jason wanted a fantasy where he was the center. But the moment Emily touched me, the moment she whispered in my ear, something shifted. And Jason saw it. He felt it. I looked away. I don't know what to say. He let out a slow breath. Do you have feelings for her? I opened my mouth to say no. To lie. But I couldn't. I don't know, I admitted. And just like that, the damage was done. Emily, of course, acted like nothing had changed. Men always think they can handle it, she said over coffee. Until they realize they're not the ones in control. I sighed. Jason isn't angry. He's just confused. Emily smirked. And you? I hesitated. I don't know. She reached across the table, her fingers brushing mine. Yes, you do. A shiver ran through me. Because deep down I did know. And that was the real betrayal. Not the act, but what it meant. That night, Jason and I sat in bed, both pretending to be lost in our phones. Finally he spoke. Would you do it again? I turned to him, my heart pounding. Do you want to? He exhaled. Not if it means losing you. I didn't know how to respond to that. Because the truth was, I didn't know if we had already lost each other. Jason had opened a door in our marriage. But neither of us had expected what was on the other side. Days passed. The tension didn't fade. And then Jason asked me the one question I wasn't ready for. If I hadn't suggested it, would you have ever realized you wanted this? I didn't answer. Because we both knew the truth. What would you do if your marriage was changed forever? Like and subscribe for more intense and dramatic stories.